Welcome to the new adventures of Tim Tim. On today's episode, we are playing War Thunder. War Thunder is a game about planes. Buying planes, doing objectives in planes, and there's some tank portion that I don't play often. Mostly about planes, as it's plain to see. Now, there are two objectives in War Thunder. One, you can shoot all the other planes out of the sky. And people have backup planes, so it's a lot of shooting, a lot of planes, a lot of destruction. Or two, you can do the objective, depending on the map. This one is hold the area. As you may or may not have noticed, I'm using the Russian planes to fight. Now, in my experience, Russian planes are a bit more nimble and seem to control better for me, just in general. I don't know if it's just me, or, if the Russian planes are better or not. But, hey, you work with what you got. Now, while we are on the topic of planes, I'd like to talk about travel and traveling on planes. I don't mind traveling on planes. I view them as amazingly fast and some sort of witchcraft. Now, one of the problems you may have with traveling in the United States is the TSA. You feel as though things are a bit too security-wise, and we're living in a constant state of terror, and we need to have over-securification. Now, it doesn't bother me. I always usually get through them rather cleanly, and generally have no problem with them. Now, from what I've heard and looked into research-wise, it seems that travel's rather expensive around the United States. We're a rather large country, and things are pretty far from each other. But once you get outside of the United States, things become infinitely cheaper. Either your flights, or you take the train or a bus. And so once you get outside of the States, you can travel around the world for probably under like $4,000. And that's not bad. You could even be out for over a month or so and only spend that much if you know what you're doing and have been traveling for a while and know the ins and outs of places and how to get around without causing too much attention or survive on little funds. Now, some of you may be asking, where would Tim Tim go? Well, Tim Tim would of course go to Europe first, travel around there, sniff around, whatever. Go to places, go to France, England, Germany, all those places. Avoid Eastern Europe. And then try to go to the South Asian area. Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Burma. From what I've seen from travel programs or Top Gear going to Burma, the South Asian area is relatively cheap to travel around. The sights are amazingly beautiful and things are relatively cheap, and travel is okay, but it's very easy to get around. You take trains or buses or rent a car. It won't be too much on your funds. You have amazing foods to try, people to see, and just history is there. And you can see things that we just wouldn't see normally, and it looks pretty amazing. Now, here are some Tim Tim travel tips. Try not to stick out like a tourist. While I have been traveling, I always make sure to blend in my locals. Be it I'm a pasty white person, and the locals aren't always pasty white, still works out relatively well, and I get treated as a local. Tip number 2. Do not flash your money about. Keep it inside. Well, that's all the time we have this week. See you in the next new adventure of Tim Tim.